HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media Podcast. And it is Friday, new release Friday. Tell us what you've been listening to that came out today. New Boldy James and Alchemist, Raz Fresco, DiBiase, or maybe something a little obscure you might not be too familiar with. Relly Rel, Hub C, out of Yonkers. Always shout out HHDG Media Crew, Rock Vader KB, Skelly Top, Mayor, T Smith, and myself, Wiki. Tonight, we have a very talented producer who shared some time in two different states, two well-known cities. And he also dropped a dope project just a week ago. He's worked with some artists that, how would I say, are established now. Some who are known in their region as well. And he always comes with some heat. We're going to get into not only his new project, but some of his other previous work, how he became affiliated with some of the artists that are on this new project, as well as his work with his guest production on other MCs' projects. So tonight we have repping Dallas, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee, M. Slago.
Peace. What's the good word, brother?
Peace. How you doing?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Out here slumming in the countryside of Texas at the moment. So, my backdrop isn't as spectacular as I would have liked it to be, but it's a good, comfortable chill
That's
spot
so
where we
good.
are right now.
That's good. That's good. So tell us, how'd you come up with the name M. Slago?
Oh man. So initially, I was going by mondoslate from the Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, big black exploitation fan. So I was going by mondoslate, and it happens to turn out there's a MC, a rapper, and from Jersey, and he was Mongo Slade, the Superfly Thug. So I got hip to him during the MySpace era, and he had reached out like, "Yo, we should work." And I was like, you know what? I listened to his music. It wasn't my bag. I started thinking, I might need to come up with another moniker. And a good friend of mine, another fellow producer and engineer, my man Salvation, probably has the best work ethic that I've ever seen in my life. But he used to call me Slago, just as a joke, because I'm a very low tone, earth tone kind of guy. So I don't get too fancy with the different colors, you know what I mean, as far as gear and apparel. But he would call me that as a joke because he's from Detroit. And, Fago Pop is, a big thing in Detroit. So he would call me that jokingly and in jest. But I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna run with that. So drop the Y off for that because we never never wrote it out. Just always said it. But I made sure I dropped the Y off just for obvious reasons, and that's how I started going by M. Slago.
Ah.
One of those things where you just never think about it. It just kind of happens that way.
It happens that way? Now, there's an artist from Atlanta. His name is mondoslate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a few of them pop up, like, since I've changed the name. So it's there's always a few. I mean, if you've seen the film, the character is amazing. So who wouldn't want to be tied to that in some kind of way?
Yeah. So speaking on blaxploitation films, what other ones were some of your favorites?
Oh man, see, we're talking. The whole Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby trilogy. From Uptown Saturday Night to Let's Do It Again, The Piece of the Action. I'm all in on those. All the Rudy Ray Moore Dolomite series. From Dolomite to Human Tornado to Disco Godfather even. You know what I mean? It's Rudy Ray Moore. It's Dolomite.
Yeah.
How can you not love that?
How could you not?
You know what I mean? How could you not love that? But man, even getting into some more obscure films like Black Vengeance
Oh wow.
and Black Shampoo and I mean you name it. Of course, the classics, the Mac and Superfly and
Mm-hmm.
the Jim Brown stuff, Slaughter and you know Isaac Hayes stuff with Truck Turner. Like you name it, I'm in it. I'm in it all the way.
That's dope. Now, as far as those soundtracks, what's one of your favorites?
Ooh man, I'll probably say I'm gonna have to go with the Mac. I gotta go with Willie Hutch.
Mm.
I gotta go with Willie Hutch. Um, Masterful work, man. Masterful work. Another good one too that I think I come in as a strong second will probably be Trouble Man.
Ah. Mm.
I would say Trouble Man is a number two because Marvin Gaye, unexpectedly you wouldn't think of him when you start thinking of score producers, but he did a wonderful job I think on Trouble Man. Like if I was in my studio, I could show you. I got the picture hanging up, the poster, Trouble Man and JoJo dancing in the background.
Oh,
So yeah, man, Herbie Hancock did that one if I remember right.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did. Mm. Now, did you grew up in Nashville and then later on moved out to Texas?
Yeah. So born and bred in Nashville, and then I moved to Dallas, like 2006, if I remember right. And then we just recently moved back, to Nashville. So moved to Dallas, became a man, family, dog, house, kids, the whole nine. And then we just had the opportunity to move back to Nashville just last year, so we took it. So that's where we granted I'm slumming it in Texas at the moment, but yeah, that's what we call home for me again, but first time for my family.
Mm. And what did you come up on in Nashville as far as music? Not just hip hop, just any music aside from what you just mentioned with the black exploitation film and Herbie Hancock and everything.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, man, Nashville is country music through and
Mm-hmm.
through. You know what I mean? Coming up, so I listened to a lot of Conway Twitty growing up,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
I don't fancy it anymore. I think it's like I had my feel as a kid. Appreciate the songwriting, of course, but it's just not. You won't catch me listening to country. That's just not. It's not my thing. But I also like to always give this little known fact. So Nashville is known as the Music City, but it's
Right.
not because of country music. It's because of the Fisk Jubilee singers from Fisk University. So I think it was like the Pope. I always mess this part up. So do my fact check against me by all means. But there was somebody of some prestige. I think it was the Pope at whatever time came to listen to them sing and dubbed
Mm-hmm.
Nashville the Music City off the strength of that, not because of country music.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so they was singing and they got him. I don't know what they sung, but they got him, whatever it
They got it.
was.
Mm. And then still being in the South and moving to Dallas, was there any differences in the music you heard out there?
It was, man. I think the biggest difference, honestly, is that by Dallas being a larger city, being more of a metropolitan city, you have more flavor that just is around. So you have a lot more people that would be transplants from different cities and different parts of the country in Dallas because there's
Mm-hmm.
more opportunity there in general because it's a bigger place. Texas is a big tech state. I know you know that. So it's a big tech state. So a lot of people will come just off the strength of that, and I'm sure just through generations, people grow and still have some of those pieces that come from whatever region they were in with them. So you get more variety in a bigger city, just by default. So you get exposed to a lot more, which ultimately I think just makes the music better in general because you get so many different styles and so many different um, renditions of things and different aspects and perspectives of music. So that was the biggest difference, just the variety was there,
Mm.
which usually lends to creating different and new sounds. and things like that.
Okay. And when what was your first official project?
Mm,
Would that be Batteries Not Included?
yeah, yeah, it
Hmm.
would. Batteries not included would be my first offering. I guess to say that would be my first offering. Would be batteries not included. Um, just a beat tape, man. Just a beat
Hmm.
tape. Being young and hungry and trying to carve out my little portion of in the culture. And that was it, man. That was it. A lot of long, for anything and for anybody, the first offering you make, like you spend your whole life trying to come up with the right thing. So you have
Yeah,
I had a lot of beats to go through. Like it took me a long time to compile that beat tape. But I did, and I think it was received relatively well.
definitely. And what's his name? DJ Dell, right? Is that
Yeah,
the person he worked with on it? Yeah.
yeah. Peace to DJ Dell, man. That's family. That's family. Like if the only thing that will make him closer to family is if we share the same blood. But I met him through some actual blood relatives. I have a lot of I have some, not say a lot. I have some family in Dallas, which kind of helped me make the decision to move that way
Hmm.
initially. But it was a collective, of different MCs and producers, and DJ Dell being the DJ. Peace to him. But he had a series he had going out called the Soul Experience, which was a lot of neo soul joints, a lot of remix joints that had never been heard, like a lot of rare cuts. So when I decided I wanted to do batteries not included, I was like, you know what, I need an operator. You know what I'm saying? I need an operator. And DJ Dale was the man, like, hands down. Piece of the whole word famous crew back in Dallas.
Mm.
I remember
And
early on when I met you, you was talking about coming to Dallas. We never saw you come down, man. Just I know that was some of my first times talking. You was like, I'm gonna come to Dallas one of these days, and I was like, yo, let me know.
yeah, definitely need to see how it is out there. I
Definitely
got
worth experiencing.
one of my friends I grew up on Staten Island. He actually moved out there.
No word.
Yeah, him
All
and
right,
his parents. Yeah, they all moved out there.
that's cool, man. Dallas is lovely, man. It did right by me. You know what I mean? It did right by me. I mean, if you go in with good intention, I think you get good out. No, good in, good out. That's the motto.
Hmm. And with your production range, and I want to pick your brain a little bit. How is it that you come up with your work?
It's um it's a blank slate, man. I mean, it's a blank canvas. You know what I mean? It's just you hear things that intrigue you in general, and then you explore that, and you explore that until you can manipulate it into something, and
Mm.
then that something becomes you become attached to it because you had to kind of search for it. You know what I mean? So I always give the analogy that the music that I make will always forever be my soul in stereo. Whatever that is at that moment. It might be rage, it might be bliss, it might be, whatever, but it'll come out in the music, and I think that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? Because that but it translates differently when there's some attachment to it, some kind of
Yeah.
way. And I mean, it even goes into just, I'm heavy with vinyl, and I try to keep it that way for the most part. Like I don't do a lot of digital digging or anything like that, but it's the tangible part, like touching the vinyl. It's like cooking.
Yeah.
It's like soul food. You know what I mean? Outside of some of the health, negatives in it, just the way the way it's made, but it's the love that goes into it.
Into it.
You
Yep.
clean, we
Hmm.
clean, you clean the greens, you shuck the peas, you peel the
Yep.
potatoes. Like there's hands on. So when you eat it, it's different because it has, that energy's been transferred. And I think it's the
Hmm.
same way with vinyl and production. When you touch it, you feel it, and it's a different thing. There's a tangible piece to it. It translates into music.
Yeah. When you cook with love, and when you get that taste, got the aroma, and then get that taste, it's a different experience.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So now I'm hungry. It's late too. We talking about eating and stuff.
Cool, cool. Now, one of the early artists that I noticed that you worked with was Dow Jones.
Yeah, yeah. Peace to Dow Jones, and I can't even say him without talking about Rapture and talking about Word Life. So with that, that came in the form of the Rampage EP, and
Mm-hmm.
Dow, bar none, is probably one of the illest MCs in the DFW area. Like I think you'd be hard pressed to ask anybody, there's anybody in Dallas that won't hold him in high regard. I seriously doubt that that's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, it was but honestly, even with that came more from my relationship with the Rapture, from Co-op, him and Money Stacks. Peace to them. I ain't talked to them in a while, but peace to them. But he and I were pretty tight, and then from there, I knew Dow, I knew Word, but we all just kind of congealed together and was like, you know what? Let's run something down. Let's knock one out. Let's knock one out. And we did, man. We did.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that would be my first. Rampage EP was my first full production project, like producing it from front to back. You know,
Front to
with
back. Mm.
yeah, with a certain with a artist or some artist. That was my first run.
Nice. Yeah, that's been what, about a decade now?
Yeah, that was 2009, if I remember right. 2008,
Mm.
2009. It's been a while. Actually, man, you know what? Even before that, because this is the history that people don't know. Because it's people do stuff that doesn't get out like that. So actually, the first project that I ever produced anything on, period, is a cat out of Nashville named T Vegas, Torello Vegas. He had a project called 100, and I produced maybe 6 or 7 joints for him. I want to say
Mm.
maybe even just 5 or 6, but I had a handful of joints on there with him. And we met just through a group that I was doing production with at the time called Castle Bang Out. And yeah, he heard some of my joints through them. No, he summoned me. I showed up, and we ran through his project 100 for the most part. So that was good too. I always gotta pay respect to the first people to show interest. So T Vegas was definitely like the first. Peace to him. He's a good friend to this day. So peace to T Vegas, Torello.
Definitely shout him out. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go check that out. See if I can find something.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to find it, man. That was before things, we was putting stuff out on the internet like that. But I
Uh
wanna
huh.
I wanna definitely make sure that he gets mentioned because he was the first one to, get that vote of confidence. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, I like you enough. I want you to run some joints for me. Like I need some of your stuff." So I definitely appreciate him for that.
Mm. And what equipment do you use these days?
Primarily, primarily it's Fruity Loops, man. Like Fruity Loops and software based. Fruity Loops, Reason,
Mhm.
Machine. Don't really get out with Ableton. Um, and then the MPC Ren. Like that's the last piece that I recently picked up. But all those early joints, like the
Mhm.
Rampage EP and the stuff with Torello and um a few more after that, all of those were 100% Fruity Loops, FL Studio.
Okay. Mm.
Is
So,
it? Yeah, man, that was my weapon. That was my weapon of choice.
hey, if that's what works, you know, stick with it, right?
Right. You know what I mean? It ain't it ain't what you hit them with, it's how you hit them. You know what I mean? So that's what I was
Hmm.
swinging with.
And since we talking about a decade from now, trying to think of some other things that you worked on around that time. Oh, Homeboy Sandman, the good son.
Yup. Yup. Um, the Homeboy Sandman story is lovely. So at the time, there was a young lady I was courting. I was doing my gentleman thing.
Hmm.
I ended up marrying that woman for the record. And but we were courting, and she was putting together a show. She always wanted to throw her own show, and she just so happens like, I'm gonna throw a show. and she was booking J Live. Name of the show was called
Nice.
Save Hip Hop, Save the World. So um, Gorilla Milk is as she was known. So Gorilla Milk and Love Jones, Peach the Brook, and then Summer Rain, Sierra, they all were working together to put the show. But Gorilla Milk was the one. My wife was the one, or my then girlfriend, somewhat at the time, was the one putting it together. But Jay Live had suggested, peace to him and True Master. He suggested, yo, you should check out this cat named Homeboy Sandman. So I remember the first
Mm.
time we heard him, we were sitting up in a spot and we were listening to Buttermilk. We were listening to the Buttermilk joint. And I was like, yo, my man he's one of one. You know what I mean? He's one of one. So she booked him for the show. They came down, rock Dallas. At the time, I was still kind of early in doing Knowledge Drop Lessons Stuff Volume 2, the radio show with DJ Easy Eddie D. So we set him up, had him come down for interviews, did the show, but I kept up with him.
Nice.
And I never mentioned I was a producer. Like I was always of the mindset, I don't talk about it. Eventually you'll just hear it or you'll just find out. It's not my duty to tell you that I do whatever it is that I do. But I kept up with him, and I was sending them pictures from one of the photographers, Glow, talented photographer. I was sending him pictures like, hey, here's some pictures that Glow took from the show. You know, use these for your promo stuff or whatever. He's like, cool. So we just would chop it up. And then finally one day I went through the archives and I hit him up and was like, yo, I got a joint or a few joints I think that you could rock. You're like, send them to me. And that's how Tablecloth came from the
Wow.
Good Son. So
Mm.
Tablecloth, there's another joint that he picked out of that never got released, but Tablecloth came from that. And we've been cool ever since. Even funnier than that is the first time that I saw him perform it was at South by Southwest.
No.
I think this was right before the record had came out, if I remember right. But either way, Dallas Collective, Austin's only like a 3-hour drive from Dallas. So the Dallas Collective was heavy at South by Southwest. And it was Rosenberg was doing something. It was one of his events and he was interviewing Bun B. And Gang Green performed. That's the first time I got to see them together. It was phenomenal. I got introduced to YU's music through that because Odyssey did a set and YU just came and just wrecked acapella one time and we were all just floored. But Homeboy Sandman did the Tablecloth joint. And like you talk about chills, man. Like it's like, because it's such high energy and I never seen it live. I'd only heard the song. But he did it and like we all went bananas. Like, we just went nuts. But the funny thing is, because we had been, communicating through emails and Google Chat or whatever it was at that time. So he didn't remember my face. So we went up and said peace. Of course, he remembered like all the women because they were the ones putting the show together. So he remembered all of them as he should. And I talked to him after that and was telling him like, yo, it was crazy. I saw the set. He was like, you was there? I'm like, yeah, I was there. He like, for real? Did you say something? Like, yeah, I said something. So the next time I saw him was at A3C, and he knew he knew who I was. He recognized my face, and that was it. But that's just a funny story. I got to see him performing live. He had no idea who I was just by face, because I mean that wasn't my thing. Just like we just talking through emails, man, keeping up. Yeah, I think you muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you got the family coming in, repping.
Oh yeah, yeah. Beast of my Dukes, the old bird.
Yeah, I mean, and with that, you built a really good relationship with Homeboy Sandman. I mean, you worked on the all that whole Dear EP with him,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
you also did the collaboration with ASAP Rock, the
Yeah.
lice.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Man, Homeboy Sandman he's been one of he's been a big catalyst in just my expansion as a producer or just know my name. To be fair, like he's been a big expansion of that. From doing tablecloth to when he was coaching. He was an MTV. He was a rap coach on MTV. MTV Made, I think, was the name of the show at that time.
Oh,
Where they would
okay,
have,
yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
C-Ray's Walls did an episode where he was leading
Yeah, that's
somebody
right.
on or whatever.
Yep.
So Homeboy Sandman did that, and some of the music in there was mine. So from tablecloth to the good son to the MTV placement to the feature, like he did a joint for me on my next project called Attack the Whack. To that, to all that I hold dear, to the connection with ASAP Rock, he's been a big catalyst, man. He's been a real big catalyst for helping me spread my wings, so to speak.
That's dope. Yeah, big shout out to Homeboy Sam, man. I
No
actually
doubt.
seen him perform this summer at Supply and Demand
Word.
because he was on Paul Rosenberg's album and he performed the track that he was on there during the show.
Yeah, he has one of the better stage shows. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He definitely has one of the better stage shows.
Yeah, in the earlier years, I used to see him a few times up at Fat Beats, in the ciphers.
That's one thing I wish I would have got a chance to experience is to be in Fat Beats when, I'd imagine that energy got to be ridiculous.
Yeah, man. Just witnessing it and then going home on off that high, just you know what you witnessed. And back then, everybody wasn't with the phones recording, so it's just everything is just in your head. You go
Had
home
to
and
be
just
there.
just reliving it. Yeah.
Had to be there. That's crazy, man. I can only imagine.
Yeah. And another funny story I like to tell about Homeboy Sandman is I used to work the night shift around that time, so I got off about 8:30 in the morning, and then I get on the train before I get on the express bus. And around the time that the Good Son was out, I'd have the advertisements up on the top on the train on the inside.
Yeah.
They were all Homeboy Sandman advertisements up there. They must have just tacked it overnight on the train. I get on the train, I see nothing but Homeboy Sandman advertisements on. That was crazy.
Yeah, man. He's like, he's a thinker. He's definitely a thinker. So always creating, always being creative in different fashion. It's not just the rhymes. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like that branding, that marketing, especially with you getting yourself out there. Like he is always one step ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And to stay on topic with, you know, people you work with, you were one of the early people. I had just recently, before Negro Smiling came out,
Hmm.
the group that you were with, I think that it was just around the time that I just started getting hip to JB.
JB, man. JB is Oklahoma's favorite son. You know what I mean? Even with the Negro Smiling thing, so I had known JB because he would come down to Dallas a lot. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a couple hour drive. So he would be in Dallas often, doing shows and just down there,
Mhm.
rocking with certain people and certain crew. And we got to know each other, just through osmosis, and being around like people or like friends or mutual friends, I should say. And just one day we had talked about doing some work, and then one day he just hit me like, "Yo, we're doing a project. We're gonna call the group Negro Smiling. It's gonna be me, you, and two other MCs." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And he told me who they were, and
Mhm.
my dialects I was familiar with through broken English, so I knew about him. Um, I met him at A3C. Matter of fact, that same year when me and Homeboy Sandman linked up, and it was like, "Oh, I know who you are." Um, so I knew Mike dialects from broken English, but I didn't know he was going by Filthy at the time, but James
Yeah,
Gardner.
that's right. Yeah.
So I didn't know about him. So I had to go back and do my due diligence on him. Like, all right, my man's nice. So we put that together, man, and it was wild. Actually, so for Attack the Whack, my project Attack the Whack, I kind of had round them up for that one. Like, yo, let's go ahead and do a Negro Smiling joint for this because I'm putting a record out. I think it'll be good to to have this as kind of a precursor. and they were with it. So as soon as we did that one, the ball immediately started rolling. We'd already been talking
Mm.
about doing Negro Smiling before, but slow motion, people in different places. I mean, we all were in different places. I'm in Dallas, or was in Dallas. JB was in Oklahoma. James was up in Michigan, and then Mike Dialects was in Jersey still at the time. So we're all in different places, and it's hard to kind of collaborate. But as soon as we knocked that one out, the ball started rolling, and then we knocked out the whole project. So peace to him, man, because he put that
Yeah.
together. Like he just said, "Hey, we doing this," and nobody said no.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up broken English. You bringing some memories for me. I got to give a shout out to rappers I know and Kevin Nottingham.
No doubt,
They would definitely put me onto a lot of music back then.
no doubt, man. Man, I mean, it was that's during that time, like the early 2010s, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, man. I feel like that was the point where there were ample platforms and ample different outlets. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you talk about, I mean, Two Dope Boys was really heavy, like super heavy at that time. DJ Booth was super
Hmm.
heavy. I met
Yep.
Z. I met Z at A3C in the elevator, and I didn't know who he was. Like I was super green. Um, and we got there, and I had to go back to the car and get some more bags, and he was in the elevator. We were just talking, just chopping it up. Yo, my name's Z. I'm like, yo, my name's Slago. Nice to meet you. And we just was joshing it up. And then lo and behold, like I'm like, oh, that's Z from DJBooth.net. It's crazy. But yeah, there was a lot of outlets during that time, like a lot of outlets that we could all be seen through. Potholes in my blog, like all of that stuff. There was
Yeah.
a lot of
Yep.
places, man.
Hmm.
And a lot of them people that we're talking about frequented those places often. You see entries in articles or music shared on all of them all the time.
All the time. Yep. Hmm. Yeah. I used to spend a lot of time just on the site, just listening to stuff, and then you go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
You just
man.
find so much good music.
Yeah, man. I think one group in particular that I remember, or somebody I remember finding out about, and I was like, "Yo, this is insane." Was man, what were they going by? I can't remember the name of the group, but it's a cat. I know one of the MC was Charlie K. They had a song I think called Sticker Bush. I can't remember the group to save my life, but I know me and my wife we ran across, or she ran across it through a blog or something. It was like, "Yo, these dudes is crazy." Man, I wish I could remember their name. Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse was the name of the group. Uh, with as in written by pen or
Hmm.
by
Okay.
But Rittenhouse, they had a joint called Sticker Bush that stood out, and we jammed that forever. And they were nice, man. Charlie K almost was on the Spaz. He was almost on the Spaz, but files got lost. Numbers got changed. We never reconnected to make that happen.
Oh man. Mm.
So yeah, if you get a chance, go back and do your due diligence. If you can find some on Rittenhouse, listen to them. And Charlie
Yeah.
K is nice, man. Charlie K is real nice.
Definitely gotta check that. Shout out DJ Dell.
Yeah, we talked him up. DJ Dell, it's my man.
Cool. Now you say we were talking about your first project and it was nothing but beats, but you also have your series.
Yeah, well, it's a couple of them. Yeah, let me holler at
Let me
you,
holler at you. Yeah.
and then the unshaven beat making.
Hmm.
Yeah, let me holler at you, man. That was just a effort to, again, being heavy with the vinyl. A lot of songs when you sampling, you don't they don't leave always a lot of room for the instrumentation. So you kind of end up chopping up vocals, which is always fun. I love making things. I love making songs say what they didn't say initially. You know what I mean? Like just chopping up the words and making it say something else. But that was just I was like, I got a lot of joints that got a lot of that I've chopped a lot of vocal samples up on that I don't think that there'll be too many people that will probably rhyme over these just because it's you competing against voices or whatever. And I figured, what, let me put out a couple joints just with those. So that way they don't live and die on my hard drive. So I had a couple already done, kind of built on to some of those and drop, let me holler at you and let me holler at you too. Peace to my man John Michael, man, J Mike for doing doing the graphics for that, man. Talented talent. He's actually a architectural engineer. So
Nice.
yeah, peace to him.
Mm, that's dope. Mm.
And then I guess to touch on unshaven beat making. So unshaven beat making, that name itself. Remember when people used to use Ustream?
Yeah.
I did one Ustream ever, like just one day, and I called it unshaven beat making because I was super scruffy, and it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I had on my pajamas still, and I was like making joints. So I called it unshaven beat making, but I was like, that's a dope title. I'm gonna keep that in the back pocket for one of these days. So I like, you know what? I had a lot of joints out. I had a lot of joints made, and I didn't have a lot of music out at the time. So I'm like, you know what? Let me let me get some feeder for some of the stuff that's coming out to buy. Just kind of fill in the blank. And I'm gonna call it unshaven beat maker. Just like put up a bunch of raw joints. You know what I mean? Like not the most polished joints, just some raw. You know what I mean? Unshaven
Yeah.
kind of
There
joints,
you go.
man. So I compiled two of those and dropped them. You know what I mean? Just dropped them, put them out there for the world to consume. Which I was surprised that people took to it as much as they did. But I also did that too in conjunction with I was a what's the word they call it? Influencer for
Hmm.
a golden grooming company, beard balms and beard oils and stuff like
Okay.
that. So I did it in conjunction with them. So
Nice.
at the time it was just right. I was like, what, let me run it this way. Let me run that. So I still use their products to this day, man. I like it, and I like that they also give a portion of their profits to HBCUs. So they give back,
Salute to
which
them
is
on
very
that.
important. Yeah, so natural products, and they giving back, and it's made. And I think they're based in Detroit. Uh, the old wide receiver for the Lions, Herman Moore, I think he just took it over. I think he just got
Oh.
ownership of that. So yeah, so peace to Golden Grooming Company, man.
Mm-hmm. That's ill. And I wanna thank you because you worked with. Am I freezing up? Yeah.
Nah, you good?
Okay. I want to thank you for working with artists that piqued my interest.
Nah, man.
And
Hey.
one, I don't I don't know. I want to mess his name up, but is it Rocky Tyrae?
Yep.
Okay. He's definitely
Rocky
one of those
Tyrae, man.
that I continue to see you working with.
Rock, man. Rocky, man. Rocky's special. Rocky is special. He will rap anybody under the table.
Mm.
I think I made a post about that, like just in the promo pass for the Spaz. Like he will wrap you under the table and hand you a blanket because you will be there for a while. Rocky special, man. I met Rocky Tyrae through it was kind of a double thing. So Megaran, peace to Megaran,
Oh yeah.
amazing independent
Hmm.
artist. But Megaran and Rocky Tyrae and Mr. Miranda, peace to him. They all were like real tight and running together. And I knew Ran. But then also my man DJ Danger One, like you'll see him. Danger One pops up on a lot of my stuff too. He's a brother. He's a big brother, and he met Rocky. He knew Rocky, so he put me on the Rocky a little bit too. So just
Hmm.
because we knew, like people, and um, he was getting some attention from Skyhook, peace to her, and I was getting some attention from Skyhook. She was doing stuff with the wake up show, and we were like, yo, let's get busy, man. Let's knock a couple joints out. So we did. So I did a couple joints for the dichotomy of Rocky Tyrae,
Mm.
and I did an intro for him. He did an intro for the Wake Up Show, and I produced that as well. So, and I
Wow.
produced the intro on the Wake Up Show for Bodega Brothers too. So two different intros got played on the Wake Up Show that I got a chance to do. And that was special. No, it's
Man,
one of
that
those check.
yeah.
That's one of them check boxes things. You know what I mean? Like let me knock this off the list, man. I was grateful to be able to do that. With DJ Revolution on the cuts of the Bodega joint, like
Yeah, you
you
can't.
know,
That's up there.
special, man. It's special. Like it's when you're appreciative. It's just being appreciative for the opportunities, you know what I mean? And people giving you the look or trusting
Yeah.
you to do something. Because I know that was on their bucket list too.
Yep. And during Mellow music come up, you worked with somebody who really started to pique my interest coming out of Jackson, Mississippi, 730. And after a while, I was like, where'd he go? But but he because he was dropping some joints.
730
He
is
had some
nice,
really
man.
solid he had some really solid projects with Mellow Music Group.
730 is a Gemini. So, you know, there's one side and there's another side. But he's a good dude. How did I get hip to 730? I got hip to 730 because in Dallas, one of the long-standing, I guess, showcases in Dallas was Final Fridays, thrown by the 18, which is Viz and Fats. Peace to them, man. Like history, like that's history for DFW. Like they are historic people for the shows that they threw and the people they will put on. But they always have done a really good job of introducing lesser known acts and talent.
Mm-hmm.
So he came to Dallas, man, and did a show with Final Friday. Him and Skip Coon, matter of fact, him and Skip Coon both on the bill, both from Jackson. And they did a show and we we were floored. We were floored. And at that time too, he was like super. He had on like this sky blue 1965 prom suit or something like that. And I think he had a mohawk at the time. He had like these red frame glasses, like just a really extrovert kind of dude. And we were like, yo, he looked crazy as all get out, but he can rap
Mm-hmm.
very well. Um, he ended up moving to Dallas, and we got close and got really tight. He was around him and his wife. They were around a lot early. With the birth of my first son, or I say my first, my only son, with the birth of my first child, my son. So they were around a lot early. Just being creative and sharing. Just we started becoming really really good friends, and we
Mm-hmm.
became like family. So when he was doing the Mellow music joint, he was like, "Yo, I want a joint." So he was at the crib. We went through a few. He was like, "I want this one," and then that's how Where It's At, Another Tragedy came about. And we shot the video for it. You know, beating up a radio in the trunk. You know what I mean? So we had fun, man. We had fun during that range. But he's a Gemini, man. So you know, just because you don't see him, just know that once that creative side clicks, I wouldn't be
He's back at
surprised.
it. Mm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I know he just dropped a joint. I think it was early this year or late last year with Georgia and Muldrow.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
yeah, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. He might be quiet, but don't mistake um lack of visibility for lack of creativity. Because I
Creativity.
know he probably got some stuff.
I'm pretty sure he does. Mm. Shout out Power Born said peace to the homie Slago.
Yeah, it's my brother Peach Fuzz, man. Peace to Peach Fuzz. That's one of the big brothers that I never had. Straight up and down, man. All right, I gotta dedicate some time to Peach Fuzz. So Peach Fuzz, when I first hit the scene in Dallas, um, Rob Victim. Rob Victim, the
Hmm.
big brother Rob Victim, he was doing the beatdown. Or he hadn't started doing it yet, but he was working on building up to start the beatdown Dallas, which was like probably the longest running producer battle in DFW at the time. Probably still to this day. I don't think anything's ran that long. But when he was DJing at spot called a Monkey Bar, I got hip to Rob through MySpace, and I like his beats, obviously. Like, yo, man, I like your production, and you got this crazy flyer with this monkey with these headphones on. I got a thing for primates. Like, it's just, I like that. I like the visual of primates. So he was like, yo, I like your music. You got to come down to the Monkey Bar. He got a picture of a monkey with headphones on it. The name of the spot is called Monkey Bar. I'm in. I'm sold. And your beats are nice. Like I'm there because I know you're my tribe. I'm good. But I will go down there and chill out. And he told Peach Fuzz, one of the few people, he was like, yo, this is Cat or I think I was still going by Mongo Slade then. Yo, this is Mongo, this Slade from Tennessee. You know, he got beats. Peach Fuzz, kindest person you'll ever meet in your life. But if somebody tells him that you got joints or you make music, he's like, let me hear something. Like, let me hear
Mm-hmm.
it. No, don't talk
Right on the
about it, be
spot.
about it. Yeah, talk about it, be about it. So
Mm-hmm.
we went to the car, listened to a few joints. And after that, man, every time I walked the Monkey Bar, that like I used to go weekly. I ain't had nothing else better to do. Young 20-some-year-old man, I was in Monkey Bar every week, every Wednesday night. Um, we see people, he was like, yo, he got beats. And I was like, chill, like I'm cool. Like I was wearing a hat super low. I didn't want my identity. Like I was on some trying to be Doom-esque at the time. Like I don't want people to know who I am. I don't show my face
Mm-hmm.
that much. But he was like, yo, my man got beats. My man got beats. So he always showed love like that, man. And you know, coming up as a young man, there's still always you need a big brother to help you understand because I'm learning life. That's my first time
Right.
being out on my own and all of that. I remember I almost got evicted, straight up. Almost got evicted. Just, you know, in between jobs, not having the money to pay rent. And I asked him what to do. He was like, just go tell them that you'll give them their money when you got it. And I was like, word, is that easy? He was like, yeah. But even through that time, you know, your self esteem kind of goes down because you feel like you ain't making it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
he would come over, we crack a brew, eat some chips, listen to music, listen to beats, make beats, and he'd be like, yo, we going out. Let's go out tonight. And I was like, I ain't trying to go out. I ain't got no money. He was like, I ain't asked you that. Like, let's go out. So he kept me in the right headspace a
Yeah.
lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, man. So the Peach Fuzz is a big brother, straight up and down. I love Fuzz and life and everything in and around in between.
Valuable life lessons. Shout out P
Yeah,
Fuzz.
yeah, man.
Peace to Lexington Productions checking in.
Oh yeah, Lex 9. Lex, what up? That's an I mean, it's a family affair, man, straight up and down. Like it's a family affair. That's one thing that I can say just through my travels and music, and just in life. But you know, music has been at the forefront of all of that, obviously. Um, it's relationships, man. Like it's really relationships. It's the impact that you get to have on people and the impact they get to have on you. That's what that nucleus that
Mm-hmm.
has been built from that you can't beat it. You can't beat it. I just wax poetic and adorn the brother Peach Fuzz. Lexon is the same way. When I think I'm like Lexon, I'll be yo, you bugging. I'll tell him something like, yo, you bugging. You're bugging. You're nice. That's nice. You should put that out. Stop playing. Or he'd be like, yeah, that could use a little extra oomph. You know what I mean? But the relationships, man, is what makes it all work. And that's
Yeah.
you'll see that kind of reflected in the music and the albums and the projects I put out because it's a lot of a lot of it's kind of like Spike Lee. You know what I mean? Like Spike Lee in his films, you always have reoccurring like actors or actresses
Yep.
in the roles.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way. Like it's family, man. You build a little nucleus. You make sure your people are good. Put them
Yep.
on. They put you on, and that's how it works.
Definitely. With that being said, let's get into the Spaz. Because you
Man,
got the family on there. And
that
one
is.
one of the early joints that when I didn't even know about this album, I think it was maybe 2019. You had the meat
Mhm.
market with Midas the Beats. Midas the
Yeah,
Beast.
man. Midas, man. The way the Midas situation came about was, um, like I guess maybe a year or two before that. It might have even been longer than that. But Dead End Hip Hop, Dead End Hip Hop did they did a mixtape during A3C. And I wish I could remember the year, but I don't. But it was like maybe 2017 for all intents and purposes. But they were doing a mixtape for A3C or during A3C. And it was in conjunction with Salem Sound Studio. Peace to Amon Jackson. You know, your favorite engineer's engineer. Um, but he anyway, Midas the Beast was on that mixtape. And in the process of going through the mixtape, I think who did he do a joint with? I think he did a joint. I think I Make Mad Beats did the joint that he did. No, I take that back. Dynamite Bros did the joint with Midas the Beast, which is AJ, Mon Jackson, and then I think it's him and Hayes. Him and Hayes so famous. Peace to them. I think them together are Dynamite Bros, if I remember correctly. And Midas was on that joint. So in the process of doing the mixtape, AJ had mentioned like, yo, you and Midas, y'all should pair up sometime. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna keep them in mind. You know what I mean? Like we'll link. And when I was filling out the rounds for the Spaz, he came up. I was like, I should go ahead and hit him up. Let me hit him up and ask him. So I hit him up. He was like, yeah, let's get busy. Send me what you got. And we knocked out Meat Market. And then I reached out to DJ Spider-Man in Dallas. So Spider-Man was DJ EZD, who I did the show with, Knowledge Drop Lessons Talk Volume 2, second longest, probably, it may actually be the longest running hip hop show in the world. Definitely second for sure, possibly first. We haven't checked the numbers officially. But DJ EZD used to tell me about this cat, like, yo, DJ Spider-Man, wait till you meet Spider-Man, wait till you meet him. And it took a few years, and then, you know, I got a chance to meet him, came up to the show, and he had like the craziest style with his cut, and like his finger and hand placements was like, so I was like, what is he doing? I've never seen a DJ like this. But it's fresh, you know what I mean? It sounds wonderful, but just the visual aesthetic of it is different. So you know, he came in and got in the DMC circuit. I think he placed in the region. I think he got to go compete, you know what I mean, with Red Alert and some more cats that was hosting like the actual DMC championships. So I hit him up, was like, yo, I want you to do some cuts on this song for me, man, because I know he's a rock kind of dude. Like he has a heavy rock influence. So just knowing that about him, I'm like, the energy of that record had a kind of a rock edge. Like, yo, I think you'd be great for this. And he was like, bet, let me run it. And he did, man. It came out amazing. I mean, Midas is top tier MC. And then with a top tier DJ like Spider-Man, like you can't miss. You can't miss.
Yep. So let's continue to go through. If you want, we can go track by track, or just go through however you want to.
You know what? Because there's so many people. If you don't mind, let's run it down track by track. I want to make sure I give due to everybody involved. Like I gotta pay that respect, pay it forward.
Definitely. All right, so let's start with track 1, About That Life, with the MC
man.
duo, PS the Rebels.
PS the Rebels, Samuel and Pion. I met them through the Knowledge Drop Lessons Talk through the radio show. They would come down and they were a part of the scene in Dallas. So I would see them often. They come down to the station frequently. And I got to see them grow, because they were relatively young as far as MCing goes when I first met them. But they were like making leaps and bounds like crazy. And they're intelligent brothers. So we have a lot of sessions after the radio station, after the show was over with, in the parking lot, just building on different ideas and concepts and philosophies and things of that nature. So when I was like, I had reached out to them before I had an idea for a project just for like all Dallas MCs, as a way for me to like, I'm gonna stamp my name on the city, like, hey, I'm here, hear me roar, all that good stuff. And to show respect to some of the cats that I know that are there. If I can give them an opportunity to get a little extra shine, why wouldn't I? But they were one of those groups, man. So when I was like, all right, that one fell through the cracks, I didn't finish that up, but the Spaz is gonna happen. I had to call them up, and they came through, sat down, picked a couple joints, and that was it. They were like, all right, cool, we're gonna get back with this one. And they did, man. So peace to PS the Real. They're doing a lot of great things out of California right now. I know Samuel is rocking with one of Bob Marley's sons. Like he's doing some work with him. And then Pion is like, I think he's doing Hollywood. I know he's trying to get like movie placements and TV shows and things of that nature. So they're out there making moves, man. Power moves. Peace to them.
Dope. Yeah, I know they released a video maybe a few months ago. I'm an Alien.
Mm-hmm. And they tall too, man. I don't like standing next to them. They way too tall for me. They too tall for me, man. But I love them brothers.
Dope. Track 2, Catch 22. You had Fat Ray, Strife, and DJ Sean P.
Man, high power music, man. So Fat Ray I met Fat Ray at Northern Lights Lounge in Detroit for the Dilla Donuts release party.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, and I was super green, super early in my production journey, and I wasn't ready for him at all. I wasn't ready for him. And just me introducing myself, because I was a big fan of Detroit music, obviously through Dilla and Black Milk and the whole like Dirty District mixtapes and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, when I met him, he was like super cool. You know what I mean? Just yo man, how long you gonna be in the city? Like we do these DJ battles and stuff, man. You ought to come through, meet some of the MCs, meet some of the rappers. And I was like, I ain't gonna be here, but thank you for the invite. So when I started making my rounds for the Spaz, and I happened to make that beat, I was like, yeah, I know exactly who I want on this one. I know exactly who I want on this one, and I want to make it straight Detroit love if I can. So Fat Ray was the first person I reached out to. I reached out to him. Matter of fact, peace to Ty Ferris because I know you talked to him yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he was absolutely 100% correct when he mentioned we hadn't talked before, like together, probably some social media interaction, but we have a mutual friend in Pallavi, and Pallavi I've been knowing him since I was like 13 or 14 years old, and they're good buddies. So he hit me to Ty Ferris, and I'm sure he did the same in return. But Pallavi made the connect with Fat Ray for me. I was like, yo, can you get me in contact with Fat Ray? He was like, yeah, easy. So made that connect with Fat Ray. I told him my whole story about how I met him. I'm sure he don't remember, but he was nice. Like, oh yeah. But either way, man, he was really cool about it. Strife I met in at South by Southwest one year, and we just felt like we knew each other. Like we was running to each other everywhere. Like, yo, I know you, but I don't know how, and I don't know where. But we talk like we've been knowing each other for years. So when I knew I had Fat Ray locked in, I was like, you know what, I gotta go get Strife. I gotta go get Strife.
Mm.
He's clever. He's probably one of the most clever, witty MCs I've ever come across. Like he has a penchant for words. Like he can bend words like the best of them. And then DJ Sean P, man, that's hometown love again from DFW. Like DJ, like Sean Patrick he is a hip hop head. He loves hip hop. He loves everything about it. I mean, he'll catch him MCing sometimes. He produces just as well as he DJs, just as well as he cuts. So anything he's ever touched that I've done, he elevates it to like the next level immediately. Like as soon as people say, "Yo, we're gonna get Sean P on this," I'm like happy dancing. You know what I mean? So Dallas got a lot of great DJs, man. You'll see that just throughout the whole project. But peace to
Yeah.
DJ Sean P, man. He took it to another level with them cuts.
Yep. And thank you for that because I'm tired of people asking about where's the DJ, where's this? There's plenty of DJs out there that are still keeping that foundation on in hip hop music.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, for DJ Sean Patrick, anybody familiar with Stick Figure, I think the last project he put out, I can't remember the name because it's like East of Saint something, but Sean Patrick did the whole production for that.
Mm. Yeah, it came out maybe last month
Yeah,
or
like
October.
maybe 2 months ago. Yeah, a couple
Mm-hmm.
months ago.
Yep. Mm. Track 3, One to Grow On with P Soul, the Earth Tone King, Von P, and Moses Rockwell.
Man, so Piso I got hip through Homeboy Sandman through the AOK Collective. Homeboy Sandman, Fresh Daily, Piso, and Two Hungry Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Peace to them. Um, Amazing production duo. So I got hip to him through that lane. Um, and we just kept up. Like we just kept up. I asked him to do a remix he did this joint called Poppy Seed um on Constellations. I think it was Gateway to the Galaxy, I think, / Constellations. And I was like, yo, let me remix that Poppy Seed joint. He was like, yeah, go ahead. So I did it, official remix, and I was grateful he let me do it. And then I'm gonna skip Von P for a second. And then Moses Rockwell, I got to meet him through um again, like J Live, big shout out to J Live and True Master, because they are kind of at the core of a lot of my like outside of Dallas people that I
Mm-hmm.
met early
Catalyst.
on. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
J Live is a catalyst, man. Like he is a conduit. He is a total conduit. But I met Moses Rockwell through by way of J Live and DJ True Master. True Master used to throw these B Shot music festivals up in Albany. New York. And I went up to Albany and got to meet him. And of course, he knows Homeboy Sandman and P So. Like, there's mutual connection there, and even Hassan Mackey. Like, they're all cool. Peace to him. So we met, and he's a fun-loving person. So we had a lot of fun just hanging out. So when I asked him to do some work for this one, he was like, "Yeah," because I did a couple joints for him on Dweeb Supreme 2, I think it was. I did a couple joints with him on that. Now Von P is like, I don't know what to say about Von P, man. Like, everybody loves Von. Everybody loves and respects Von, man. So through Bodega Brothers, 'cause I know they used to tour together a lot, and even through like True Master again and J Live, like hanging out with at V Shot and just kind of hanging out with the brothers and the crew, mutual friends at South by Southwest and stuff. We got to know each other and got familiar. And I got to give a big shout out to Travi from Bodega Brothers. When he came over to my house to record his verse for that intro for the Wake Up Show, and I was telling him at the time, like, I want to do a one-off joint with an MC. He was like, "Yo, you should hit up Von." And again, I don't move around a lot, so I don't really know how things are moving sometimes. And I got all bashful. I'm like, "Nah, man, Von don't know me like that. Like, I've seen him, we've talked, we're cool, but Von, he was like, trust me, Von knows who you are." So I reached out to Von, and at the time he was like, "Yo, we working on a bunch of stuff with Tanya Morgan. I'm back in my production bag real heavy, and I got some stuff coming out with the other guys. Peace to them." But he was like, "Yo, if you ever need me, make the call." So I made the call, and he answered, and only the way he can.
Wow.
I love getting to tell these stories,
I'm
man.
loving
Like,
these stories, yeah, man.
yeah, I love it.
Track 4, a very favorite artist of mine in recent years, Crumb, with the track Flavor.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Plato. Crumb, man, again, just being in the Dallas scene, you can't you can't move throughout that scene without rubbing elbows, you know what I mean, with him, man, with Crumb. I gotta keep saying Crumb. Like, you want to say Plato. But you gotta rub elbows with Crumb. Like, I would say he probably is the most complete MC in DFW. Like, full package. I'm talking about stage presence, like amazing songs, a crazy range of music, harmonizing. He can go rock, he can go straight boom bap, he can do anything. And the packaging of his products are always top notch, which people miss
Yes.
out on that a lot. You know what I mean? So he packages his products well. Um, he can go off the top of the dome. Like, I mean, he's won plenty of freestyle battles around the Dallas area and probably beyond that. So he's a brother, man. He's a good brother. I called and talked to him shortly after he dropped Dark, and we just talked, just talking because I hadn't seen him since we moved or whatnot. But man, I got a lot of love for Crumb, man. He's family. He's family.
Man, the album he did with Theory Has It.
Right.
Man.
The two of them. The two,
Yeah.
they did
Two, yeah, that's right. They did the one after that.
His Mud in Your Eye, and then they
yeah.
Spit, right? Or something, I think it's Spit.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, man. Theory's crazy. Theory is amazing. Theory Has It is amazing, man. I've got a chance to get to know him more just through like the session in. Piece of Slop Funk does some Battle Lab and that whole collective, man. Like, I've gotten to know him a little bit better through that. And they came out to the station and interview when they were in the middle of Here's Mud in Your Eye. But so I got to meet him in person and give him some flowers. And then I just gotten to appreciate his music more, just hearing some of the raw beats that haven't been placed yet. Amazing.
Yeah. Yep. Track 5. We got Detroit in the house again on the Creeps with Guilty Simpson.
Man, I'm an honorary Detroit native. Shout out to Kwame Kilpatrick. My first time in Detroit, I ran into him outside of the Rhino, then Harmony Park. There's a studio up there. My man Salvation, I mentioned, they called me Slago. We went to Detroit. He was my first. He helped me get to Detroit for the first time. He's from Detroit, so we went up there, hanging out over at Harmony Park Studios, and shouted out. Kwame was out front, being the delegate that he is. He like, yeah, you're an honorary citizen, man. So they asked me, like, you know who that is? I'm like, nah. They're like, that's the mayor. Like, what? Like, yes, the mayor. So I thought he was a linebacker or something for the Lions. I didn't know. He's
Hmm.
kind of a big dude. But
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, Detroit love, man, definitely. So Guilty Simpson, I got a chance to meet him when Random Acts was touring. They did a show in Dallas with Kickspo, sneakerheads. They did a show called Kickspo at AT&T Stadium. So I got a chance to meet him then and try, talk with him a little bit. And I told him, like, yo, man, let's link up and let's maybe do some work in the future. He was like, cool. So we exchanged information. And when I reached back out to him, you know, he showed a lot of love and was like, all right, cool, let's get busy. And that was that, man. So he came
Hmm.
back to Dallas a couple times to do some shows. Around the time he did Detroit Sun, they were doing a promo run for that, and he did a show with Peanut Butter Wolf and Homeboy Sandman, and I think somebody else was DJing. I think, but either way, he came to Dallas. We got to chill, and I'm not a big drinker by any means, but we threw a couple shots back because guilty can knock him down sometimes. So we got a chance to really chill, man, and just build more of a relationship. Um, and yeah, man. So guilty's A1. Another top notch MC that a lot of people is always sought after. Like a lot of people shoot to try to work with Guilty. So he's a bucket list person for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just brought up during the time of the Random Acts tour. That's actually the last time I seen him perform in New York with
Yeah,
the late great Sean Price and Black Milk.
yeah, man. Rest in peace to Sean P.
Yeah, man. Oof. That was a dope show too. Now I'm bringing back memories.
Yeah, man. Hey, hip hop. I mean, good music in general to do that, but when we
Hmm.
talk about hip hop, do that most definitely.
Yeah. And now we have the title track, Spaz, with Seneca the Misfit.
Seneca, man. Seneca is a monster. Seneca is a monster. Again, Danger One, who kind of hooked me up with Rocky Tyrae, so to speak, in collaboration, I guess, with Mega Ran. But Danger One put me on to Seneca. Me and DJ EZD. He was like, "Yo, this is kid out of Baltimore that I've got hip through Do It All from Lords of the Underground." He
Mm.
was like, "Yo, dude was working with this cat Seneca the Misfit, so he would send us his music, and we would like play it at the station like crazy. Like, yo, Seneca's so nice, man. Just metaphors and you know what I mean? Just wild, man, crazy beats and stuff. So me and Seneca got cool. I reached out to him to work with me on Attack the Whack on that joint, or the joint called Whack actually. With he was going by Plato then, but Crumb, Homeboy Sandman, and Seneca the Misfit. So we rock with each other early then, and we'll rock with each other forever. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if Seneca and I come up with some stuff within the next year. I
Mm.
would not be shocked if that happens.
Now, before we go into track 7, you got to tell me about creating this beat. This is one of my favorites.
Oh man, Grand National music. Or the Spaz joint. You talking about the
Yeah, the
Spaz beat or
Spaz. Yeah,
the
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
man? It was it was probably it was an early dive for me working in actually like break beats and chopping them up. Like that was another chamber I was working on, like entering into that. So that was I think that was probably my best, you know what I mean, my best shot and attempt at it. I mean that having break beats incorporated now is a core part. Once you open that chamber, you can't go back. But that was me diving into that. And the sample I had used it before. It's one of them joints you go back to and flip it 4 or 5 different times because it's just that open. But I was like, you know what? Let me take this and let me run it down and burn it down with this break beat.
Hmm.
And I was like, who's gonna skate over this? Who do I know that's gonna just who can take this by the horns and just wrestle it to the ground? That sound like the Attack the Whack intro. But Seneca, man, Seneca came up. I'm like, yo, Seneca will run over this easily. So yeah, that was a logic, man. It was me. Oh, it was me and my at the time I was working on opening up that chamber with chopping up break beats for the drum instead of me having my own played out drums.
Man, track 7, Grand National Music with some lyrical giants, Superstition, Sky Zoo, and for Sean.
Man, I wanted to hit all three sides. I wanted because I Detroit was already well represented on the record. That was already established. But I wanted to hit. I wanted. I wanted. I wanted a juggernaut from the west. I wanted a juggernaut from the south, and I wanted a juggernaut from the east coast, from up north. And I mean, who else you gonna get? You know what I mean? Like, who else you gonna get? Like their pens are so well respected. It's like I can't go any other way. So Sky Zoo, I reached out to by way of Tyrae. Peace to Tyrae. Tyrae, little known fact, Tyrae is the one song that was actually done, but the files got like lost, and we couldn't
Oh,
recover them. So Tyrae was supposed to be on the Spaz. And
mm,
that's my fault. Like a hard drive got knocked off the table. I couldn't restore the files, and he had already deleted the session, so we never got back around to it. But I would have loved to have, man. But anyway, I reached out to him. He connected me with Sky Zuka. They were doing the Barrel Brothers
mm-hmm,
project, and we were trying to set up interviews and stuff. So he helped me get the line to Sky Zoo. So I locked in Sky Zoo. Superstition I already knew of. We had been playing stuff from him forever. Like I know the Yada Yada joint he had. We played that to the bone, man. We played it to the bone at the radio station. Um, so I reached out to Sal, piece of Sal, and he made that connect. So I got super locked in, and then Fat Sean, right after he signed with Mass Appeal,
mm,
um, I locked him in for an interview at the radio station. And after and keeping it all the way funky, after the interview, I usually do, we usually do some parting words after, like, yo, man, everything went great. I'll let you know when it's posted up. If we got a recording, I can send it to you,
yeah,
or whatever. But I hit him up. I just asked him, I was like, yo, man, I want to get you on this record because I know you're pen and representing the West for what I'm trying to do. And I laid out the concept. He was like, cool. He was like, all right, send me the joint and I'll get back to you. I sent him the joint. He got back to me. Super love. I'll say that. Super duper love, man. And he jumped on there and knocked it out and
mm,
like smashed it. So yeah, pin game crazy for all three of them.
yeah. Mm. And track 8, which we just spoke about, that was a Meat Market joint.
Yeah, we talked about Midas and DJ Spider Man. Peace to them.
Yeah. And then track 9, Love Lost, Bodega Brothers, Mellow DJ Centrific.
Again, man. Talking about Centrific, another Dallas DJ, another DFW DJ. Again, by it being a larger metropolitan city and just being in the radio and being in the scene, Dallas has DFW. I don't want to disrespect Fort Worth, but the DFW has some very formidable DJs, man. Very formidable DJs. One DJ I wanted to get on here, I wasn't able to get just because there was some technical issues with his equipment, and then the timing for me just didn't work out. Was and I will not challenge, but I will be who it would be beneficial for all of you to look up DJ Tums. DJ
DJ
Tums in
Tums, okay.
Dallas. Check him out. Check him out. To give you full disclosure, he was supposed to do the cuts on the Seneca the Misfit joint on the Spaz. And he is a turntablist of the highest degree. But definitely check out DJ Tums. Peace to him, man. But yeah, Love Loss it's another, it's Crew Love. Bodega Brothers with Head Crack, Trevor and Keynote. I mean, they well, Crack was in Dallas early on, so like that's just love, man. Head Crack is a good friend, a really, really good friend. Travi he played a big role in helping me be comfortable taking the next step. Like let me elevate and not be afraid or not be so timid to go after certain people or to reach out to certain people. You like do it. You're talented enough for that. Like don't sweat yourself. And then Mila can just sing. Mila can sing her booty off. She can sing, man. And I got to know Mila a little bit again, just running through just mutual friends, man. Mutual friends with Pharaoh Munch, and um, I got a chance to hang out with Mila a few times, and she is just a lovely person. So I was like, I need some singing, Mila. She was like, all right, I got you, and that was that.
Man, Um, I seen her sing at a Sky Zoo performance at the Blue Note. Man,
Did they do the joint from the 4 a.m. blues or 2 a.m. blues?
yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Like that acoustically, you know what I mean, is hard, man.
Those notes that she's hitting, man.
Hey, Mila got it, man. Mila got it. Like she was on my hit list. Mila was one of the few singers I definitely wanted to work with. I was like, all right, you know, and it ain't there haven't been many singers I wanted to work with,
Mhm.
but Mila was one of them. Mocha Soulfly was one of them. I sought her out in Dallas, and I got her on the Motion Namaji record, which isn't hip hop per se, but definitely worth mentioning. And then a couple other ones I got on my list. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there. Is Jametta Rose,
Oh,
Jametta, and Stacy Epps.
Stacey. Yeah.
I got to hang out with Stacy Epps one time. I need to round that out. I need to
Yes,
round that
indeed.
all the way out. I need to round it all the way out. Cause what she did is playing around. I listen to it now. Like we could put that out and people would love it.
Yeah, man. You got another avenue right there with the singers.
Man, just to try to display the range. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
just be able to flex all muscles that you have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, this is Stacey Epps.
Man, you know what I mean? Yo, her awakening, man, had me wide open. I was like, I'm good. I can listen to this forever.
And there's just certain singers that they're hip hop. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Right.
It
Ah,
just their sound is perfect.
I forgot somebody else, Latoya Williams. Latoya
Oh,
Williams. That's kind of in the lane of like Mila, but Latoya Williams. And then for the fellas, I am actively gonna go pursue Deion Jenkins. Ever since I heard him on the game record, I was like, one of these days I'm going to go find this guy. So he's on my hit list.
mm. He still work with High Tech.
I think so. I think so. I mean, man, what was the joint they had on High Technology too? I can't remember the name of the joint, man. And I ain't gonna sing on camera. But man, I think it was Let It Go. The Let It Go joint.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty. Just nasty, man. But yeah, him and High Tech
Yeah.
made a really good. Whenever he touched High Tech stuff, it was to the moon immediately.
Yep.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we get a little off track right there. Oh. Track 10, Nappy Hair Don't Care with Rocky Tyrae.
Yeah, we touched on Rocky.
This joint right here. Yo, he's brutally honest with this one, and I love it.
Yo, I think honestly, I feel like the Nappy Hair Don't Care joint is a sleeper. I feel like that's the sleeper on the album. Like you have to have the album and listen to it. I mean, you can stream it, but you have to have the album to listen to it and get to that one and just appreciate what Rocky can do. You know what I mean? Like the commentary and the style,
Mm-hmm.
the hook's catchy, and it's poignant though. Like that's the beauty in like real artists. Like it's such a poignant song, but it's enjoyable and it's consumable. You know what I mean? Like you can listen to that over and over again. But the message in it is strong.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is how the hook just meshes perfectly with his verses.
Yeah, seamless.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's Rocky, man. Told you he will wrap you under the table and hand you a blanket. Like Rocky is that guy. Rocky Tyrae is that guy. Me and him definitely gonna link up and do some more stuff too. We gotta carve it out, man.
Mm-hmm. Track 11, Perpetual Motion with Homeboy Sandman.
Man. Yeah, Homeboy Sam, man. I mean, I don't know we ain't really nothing to say about that. It's him and it's me. And there's always gonna be joints to be released if as long as the both of us are alive. Yeah, there you go.
Track 12, another favorite of mine. Finer Things with Kyle Raps.
So the beat for that one actually came from Peace to Dart Adams. Dart Adams is also another big catalyst, I think, for helping me get out there, especially early on. And the whole movement he had and started with producers I know, um, .com. So it was a challenge to flip like these particular joints. I forget exactly what it was for, but he had reached out to some of the producer I know collective team PIK, and he gave me this one joint. He was like, yo, flip this. And he gave me a choice, I think two joints. He was like, you can flip one of these two. And I'm like, all right. So I flipped it, and I'm like, all right, cool. This is nice. And then when I was, piecing out the spaz, I'm like, there's an element I haven't touched yet. I try to make sure I hit, you know what I mean, different chambers. And I hadn't touched this chamber yet on the record. So I want to pick a joint that'll accomplish that sonically, but I also need somebody that's gonna be able to handle that kind of beat. And that could be a challenge for some MCs, but I knew who was up for the challenge. You gotta know your people, and
Yeah.
I knew Kyle Raps with just his descriptive nature of MCing, like he's gonna turn this into something ridiculous, and he did. Again, I had him on Attack the Whack, on a joint called Mouthful, and he smashed that one. So I told him like this one's a little slow. This one's a little slower as far as tempo and energy, but I think you can handle it. And he was like, as the kids say less, fam. He was like, say less, fam. I got you. And he smashed it, man. Like just some very, very vivid imagery. You know what I mean, to say the least. The way he puts them together.
And to round out such a great project from beginning to end, you end it with Mila Mashenko's voice on Let You Tell It.
Mila, man. Mila Machinko. Again, I was like, I need to hit some. I need to hit all of these chambers. So that beat in particular, though, for Let You Tell It, that is a very, very, very old beat. Very old. Um, but that's one of those ones where I had just a moment, and it's like, all right, I see what my potential is. If I can make this now, then what am I gonna be able to make in the future? But that particular beat for that one, man, I took that one with me to South by Southwest for a beat battle, 2013, I think, and I played it, and one of the judges, I think it was Beat Swap Meet, but one of the judges was Focus,
Oh.
and Three Dots Focus. And
Mm-hmm.
he was one of the judges. So I played this one joint. Um, I played this one. I don't remember the first beat, but I played one beat and I got through the first round. And in the second round, I played that beat, and he was like, "Yo," he was like, "Out." And the other judges, he was like, "Y'all bugging. Like, is this a showcase or a battle?" And they said it's a battle, and that's not a battle beat. So I got kicked out. But he
Oh.
talked to me like on the side of it. He was like, "Yo,
Mm-hmm.
that one." He said, "That's a winner. I don't know what you're gonna do with it or how long you're gonna sit on it, but whenever you make a move with that one is a winner."
Do it
Um,
right.
you're like, yeah, do justice by it. So I was like, you know what? Who sings like Mila? Nobody. So I sent this one to her. She was like, oh yeah, I got this one. I got this one, and she ran it down, man. She ran it down.
Yeah. Wow. You definitely showed off your range on the Spaz. I'll tell you that.
I tried to, man. That was my goal. I wanna. So with the Spaz, like the Spaz is like my first full fledged with vinyl and merch and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
I don't put out a lot of music as myself. You know what I mean? I put out a couple instrumental joints, and this is probably the second or third. Well, yeah, because Rampage wasn't even just me. So the Attack the Whack was me, and the Spaz is me. Attack the Whack was super early. It just was. I was happy to get music out with people that I enjoy rocking with and people that I
Hmm.
hold in high regard. And I always keep that at the forefront of my mind. I always try to make sure that I'm working with people that I hold in high regard. Like I have to respect you. You know, it ain't. It's never a reach or a grab. It's a respect thing always. And I think that comes across, and I think that's who I get in return. Like they reach out to me because they respect, just who I am as a person, outside of just having, what some might consider nice beats. It's Slago's a good person, you know what I mean? So, um, but this was my first full offering, like with the vinyl and having merch and doing the full, promo deal on it. Like that, this is my
This is it.
yeah, this is my
Your
I'm
baby.
staking my claim. Yeah, I'm staking my claim with this one.
Hmm.
Like I'm putting the flag on the moon with this project.
Yep. Rightfully so. Y'all need to
Thank
go
you,
listen
man.
to it. Definitely, definitely.
Thank you, man. I
Now,
appreciate
now I gotta ask because you did a project called For the Culture with Marcel P. Black. Was there a chance that he was gonna be on this album?
it. Nah, not with this one. Cause
Hmm.
it was already it was already pretty much halfway done by the time we started working on for the culture.
Okay.
So like the Spaz took a while for me to put together because I did the Dr. Dre thing. Like I went through so many different thoughts and ideas and variations of combinations of MCs until I had it how I wanted it. But now before the culture came up, and I know you talked to Marcel, and I got a chance to peep some of that one. Peace to him, man. He um he had made the call out on Facebook or just social media, but I caught it on Facebook. Just like, yo,
Hmm.
who would y'all want to see me rock with? I'm trying to knock out a project. And our mutual friend Legend, excuse me, who Legend's another Dallas stalwart, and he suggested me. Now I had met Marcel P. Black before. I showed love. He came. It was Elements of Hip Hop. I know he said it, but it's kind of recant that. Elements of Hip Hop festival in Dallas. He came down and performed at that. We talked. We met. Truth Universal had made the connect piece to him. He was like, "Yo, when you go to Dallas, you need to check out Easy Eddie D and them Slago." So I went down to Elements. We chopped it up and met, and I was like, "Yo, you ought to come back to the station, man. You got a little time before your next set or whatever the case was." I think he might already perform, and I was like, "Yo, you ain't got nothing else to do except hang around and just network. Why don't you come to the station?" He's like, "Bet." So he followed me to the station, knocked the interview out on the spot, and we just kept up. You know what I mean? And when Legend made that suggestion, I immediately replied like, "Yo, I got a, I got an EP work for you for sure." And we jumped right in. We jumped right into it, man. He told me what he wanted to accomplish. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. And we knocked it on out, man. But I told Marcel then, and I'll say it now. There's a handful of people on the independent grind that I respect so much, and he's one of them. Like just how he moves and the
Absolutely.
consistency
Yeah.
and what he does, man, and then the content, of course, in his music. And he has range as well. Like he'll do some stuff with more traditional sounding beats, for
Hmm.
mainstream consumption or whatnot. But he never wanes on the content, which I love. So yeah, big respect to Marcel P. Black for like the independent grind that he has. It's only a few that I think qualify in that same air with him, in my opinion, that I know.
Very true. Yep. Now, when I listen to the Spaz, I always play it beginning to end, even when it's I got my favorite joints in there. After I let it ride, I'll go back and put those certain joints on repeat.
Word.
But for me, listening to your music for quite some time now and hearing a lot of the artists that you worked with in the past be on one project, I love that because you look forward to when you hear a certain artist with a producer, you're like, want to hear more with these
Yeah.
two or these three. and you brought that here. Now,
Right.
for the other fans out there, what do you want them to take away from the Spaz?
It's good music, man. It's good music with variety. Like that's the key. You know, not no one person is singular in the way they think, in the way they move, in the way they act, in the way that they experience things. So with the Spaz, specifically with this one, that's what I want to convey. I want to try to get across and convey the message that there's a lot of different flavors in this record. It's all cohesive because it all comes from one source. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
comes from me. And I mentioned earlier, like all of these beats and all of this music is my soul in stereo. So I felt it when I made it. The MCs and the singers that got and the DJs that got involved, they felt something that caused a reaction for them, and that's what they contributed. And I feel like I want that to be conveyed, and I think that it'll be felt for the listeners, for whoever decides they want to consume it, however they choose to consume it. Like it'll touch something. And I would think and hope that every track touches a different facet of your personality. Like that's what I want. I want you to receive it as you are, which is multifaceted.
There you go. So not only have you become a conduit, like some of the people that you work with, you're spreading it to the fans the same way as
Yeah,
we
man.
continue to share it. And I appreciate that.
Oh, that's love. That's love. I appreciate that 120%.
Yeah. And Slago, everybody.
Yeah. Peace, y'all. Love.
As always, give your shout outs and where they can go and support the Spaz and your other projects.
Word. First, man, peace to everybody that tuned in, live, and peace to everybody that's gonna check it out later. I'm addressing you too. Peace to y'all. Peace to you. You know what I mean? I was gonna turn the tables on you, ask you a bunch of questions, but I was like, I'm a chill. Like I'm used to being the one asking questions, man. But yeah, mslago.com is the website. I try to keep it up to date with what's happening. You can see a full discography of pretty much everything I've ever done, I've contributed to, or I put out myself, or even mixtapes and compilations. That's there. Social media, pretty much everywhere is M_Slago. I like to say Munderscore because it sounds funny, but yeah, at Munderscore Slago, you can find me there. And you know, that's it, man. For any artist, I plug this to any artist that's trying to get some music played that's, that is relevant to what we talk about and what is being discussed often in the hip hop discussion group on Facebook. Knowledge Drop Let's Talk Volume 2, every Saturday night, 8 to 10 p.m. in Dallas Central Time. DJ EZD, 35 years of hip hop on the air. Check him out, man, and get with him if you have music that you want to get submitted. He'll give you the line.
That's something that needs to be noted. Definitely, man.
Pay
Especially
it forward.
the way radio is now.
Yeah, open door policy, man. I think DJ EZD and his show is one of the last pillars that upholds, how it came about. It's his motto pretty much is everybody gets a fair play. Now, if it's fresh, we try not to say dope because of content, but if it's fresh, you'll get more spins. If it's not that fresh, you got one spin. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Submit something else if you not hearing your stuff in rotation. So open door policy, man. I have learned a lot from him in that aspect. I try to be open in any way, but he definitely just kind of cemented that for me. Like always be open. Always be open to hear, accept, try, you know what I mean, listen to whatever that somebody might bring your way. And then you can make a decision after that. But everybody deserves a fair shake, and he's one of the last few places you can get that without any bias.
Well said. Quick shout out to Gemini Podcast. Said good interview. Loved it all.
Peace. Yeah, man. She got the CMOS game on lock. Hit her up.
Dope.
Amongst other things, but yeah.
Put that in my fruit smoothies.
Word, yeah. So yeah, all right. So I know we're trying to wrap up. All right, so let's talk about.
What you want to ask?
Yeah, let's talk about health because I know you're vegan,
Okay.
right? How
Yeah.
long you been vegan?
Since 2016.
Word. All right. So around that time, we've been off and on with veganism, but we have at the
Mm.
point we are now, we have a really high vegetable diet, like 70-30. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So whereas people have, 3 meals a day with a meat in every meal, we might have meat 3 or 4 times in the course of a month or something
Okay.
like that. So for people who might be listening, because I know people have been just general public has become more health conscious. Like, what are
Mm.
some of your tips and some of your suggestions to leading a healthier and more plant based life?
Definitely, definitely. Well, for one, I always say this: know your body,
Word.
and don't ever go cold turkey. That's really not the best thing to do. Wean yourself off and know your portions. Start with certain portions to see how it is. Because me, I can go 1 or 2 meals a day. So definitely know your portions first, and know your body and work from there.
Yeah.
And as far as going vegan, it was a slow, you know, transition to becoming vegan because I grew up eating everything:
Right.
poultry, seafood, beef, all that stuff. So the first thing that I really stopped doing was stop buying burgers from fast food joints. And then from there, I subconsciously stopped eating meat. And then later on, just chicken and seafood, and then just chicken. And then, I said, let me see how it is to just not eat chicken anymore, because my parents grew up giving me a balanced meal. So I already had eaten fruits and vegetables along with, the
Yeah.
seafood and everything else. So I did it for like a month. I just kept going.
There it is. So yeah, I know that's important, man. I think for people to have, I think it's important to hear it from people that what I mean, that are
Mhm.
more grounded. Let's just say that
Right, right.
for people that are more grounded and relatable to hear that story. I know along those lines, I stopped eating pork back in like 98, 99.
Hmm.
Actually, Gemini podcast was a big catalyst to that. So I stopped eating pork then. And, after a few years, hadn't ate it. And it was like, well, why do I need to go back? I don't need to. So having that same general experience, and I was a teenager then. So having that
Hmm.
experience then, translating into me meeting my wife and her talking about and having the conversations around, we should eat better. Let's cut out meat. Like you said, it's a slow process to wean yourself, kind of slow roll yourself into that.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
but you mentioned like know your body, and as a result too, for what I've in my experience, I'm sure I'd imagine it's the same. But as you've gotten into a healthier diet, you tend to listen better, or you tend to get better. You tend to be more. Oh, you seem to, what's the word I'm looking for? You are
In
more
tune.
aware, in tune.
Hmm.
You are
Hmm.
more aware and in tune with your body. So you can hear when your body's telling you, "Yo, I need a little bit more of this right now."
Right.
And I think that comes from having a clean and healthier, diet. Now, don't get it twisted. For where we are, we have a high vegetable diet, but if we feel like we want a burger, we'll go get it. But it
Hmm.
balances out. It's, too much of anything is bad for you. So just know, like you kind of said, know your portions.
Yep.
If I want to eat a burger, I know if I have it now, I need to chill out for the next couple months. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yep.
that's important. That's important to share. I appreciate you sharing that with the people.
That's definitely. And I'll never be that type of person. You shouldn't eat meat because of this and type. I can never do that, because who am I to say that when I grew up eating everything?
Right.
You know.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you said, if you listen to your body, you'll know what works for you. Just
Yep.
be conscious and make the effort, though. I think that's the thing. Make the effort. It's worth the effort. You deserve the effort. Your body deserves it. Your mind
Right.
deserves
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
it. Yeah, man. I'll go. I couldn't let you get off the hook without me asking you at least one question. I wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna let you just slide off like that.
Definitely. Definitely. Great talk, man. I appreciate it.
Likewise, brother. Likewise.
And for all those who haven't tuned in, this will be up as soon as we're done on YouTube. And then next week, it'll be on all your major streaming platforms. So on behalf of Slago and myself with HHDG Media, we're going to say peace.